The big question today, how do you become a business coach? And I'm going to share with you what I think are the three main ways or journeys or pathways you can go on to become a business coach, and the pros and cons of each depending on, what is your main goal, what are your limitations, what are your obstacles. So let's get right into it. So the first way is figure it out on your own. Just go on your own path. And I actually mean not just purely on your own, but I'm including things in that, like watching YouTube videos, reading books about this, even buying courses, anywhere up to like $2,000, things like Consulting Accelerator, using Fletcher Method, all these people that we've reviewed on our blog, and we'll continue to share what's great, what's not so great. I'm including all of that in figuring it out on your own. And the reason I say that's figuring out on your own is some of those courses are brilliant, but they don't give you the done for you, ready to go system. You still got to figure it out all yourself. So for example, the Fletcher Method is a fantastic tool and resource, but it's an absolute headache for some people because they just don't have either the level of creativity or the level of clarity, or they just don't have the time to go and do this while they're trying to get clients, of creating their own signature system and all this other stuff. So that's why I chunked that into figuring it out on your own, okay? Or like Consulting Accelerator by Sam Ovens, you're still got to create all the messaging yourself. You've got to figure out what your niche is. You've got to figure out exactly how you're going to position your expertise, what your expertise is. So whilst those are all great, I chunked them all into that category. Now, the benefit of figuring it out on your own is it's much less costly, even the $2,000 programs, or you can try and read books and things like that. The downside, as I've already mentioned, is you don't have it all already done for you, okay? So you're having to come up with those things, and they might not be as good as they could be because you're splitting your time between marketing and creating these things, or your marketing might not be on point, for example, okay? So you've got to wear all the hats and figure it out all yourself and try and be good in all of those areas. And it's very rare that one person will have all the different characteristics they need. So if someone who's brilliant at creating like a product or a signature system, might not be so good at the marketing side because they're really good at explaining one thing, but they're not so good at actually positioning the psychology to get people interested in it, because they just want to give everything away because they're so good at creating the system. Okay, this is something I had to learn the hard way years ago when first starting my businesses. So that's the first one, is figure it out on your own. Now, the second, which is kind of the polar opposite of that, is go and join a business coach franchise, okay? So there's lots of them out there. So you've got Action Coach, you've got Business Doctors, you've got Entrepreneurs Circle, you've got Growth Coach. We've got a whole article. I can't even think of all the ones off the top of my head. So you can go click the link on this page or somewhere to go and read our review of those different ones, or the summaries of them. So this is good because you've got a full, complete system. And not only just the system, but hopefully they're doing good branding and the name is well known, and there's a full community and support, and there's everything there for you ready to go. So you don't have to waste lots of time figuring out all this stuff. Hopefully they've got good marketing for you, good client material, so you can just get on earning money. Now, the big downside to this is that there's normally a colossal upfront investment fee. I'm talking the cheapest ones are normally $30,000, on an average $70,000 or above, and that's just the initial investment. Then you've got ongoing monthly fees, and they lock you into a contract. So the monthly fees, even if you never earn a penny over the next 7 years, might be another $200,000 that you're on the hook for. Then when you do actually start taking revenue, they're going to take a chunk of that, and then they're going to limit you to certain territories. Now, this isn't a bash franchises, but I just want to tell you from our experience and having our co-founder of being the number one earner in the largest business coaching franchise and having left that, and other people who've been in that and who've been the number one and left that, it says something about how difficult it can be to work when you've got that drag of expenses on your business. So while it's great that you've got a community, a brand, a ready-made thing to go, then the flip side is, there's a lot of fees involved, and you need pretty deep pockets if you're going to go and do that, okay? So I won't say any more about that. I'll save that for the other videos. But that is another option, but you've got to be very, very careful. And somewhere around here, I might have the financial model of what it means if you're thinking about joining a business coach franchise, something that I've been working on. Then the third option is kind of like a middle ground, a hybrid of the two, which is where we fit at Business Coach Academy. So I'll try and be as unbiased as possible, but I'm going to say up front, it's hard not to be unbiased, because what we did is when we saw the market, we tried to take the best of both worlds. So like the bit about figuring it out on your own, all those courses, one of the beauties of that is you can do it in your own time from wherever you want. Whereas the training on the franchise side is you've got to go and, fly to a different country, be there for 7 days, sometimes America, sometimes Australia, and it's a different side of the world where you are. So we took that part, and then we got rid of the part of the franchise where you don't have to pay us any fees and reduced the cost there. So the pros of something like a certified partnership or a license is that you've got ready-made tools, you've got a certain amount of branding, maybe not as much as the Business Coach Academy. That depends on how established it is. But it'll usually be a bit less so, because the Business Coach franchises, you're only allowed to use their material, so it makes sense for them to brand. Whereas with something like a partnership license, it's much more flexibility. So you can use their frameworks, you can use their things, but you can also change them to adapt it. So they're not as worried about you having to use the brand. You can use their brand if you want, but you're also free to use their tools with your own brand, which some people really like, but you could argue it's a con, like a downside, if you want more and more branding. Another benefit of the license is that you don't have to pay ongoing monthly fees, okay? Or you don't have to pay money on your revenue, which is another big thing. The other thing is you're not limited to your territory. So within a franchise, you just, you can go in one little area to protect, and they say you can't market anywhere else, and that just protects you from other people in the franchise, but not other business coaches. When you're part of a license or figuring it out on your own, you can go and market anywhere as long as you know how to do it. Okay, and so you're able to make the world your territory that you're able to go and market to. So we really like the license and certified partner model, because you still get the same coaching, support, community, brand, tools, all that stuff, without the limited to a territory, without the having to travel somewhere to go and do the training, without the insane upfront fees, without the ongoing fees on your revenue, without having to attend certain conferences, without restrictions on how you can use the tools. So really, it's your choice completely. If time is a problem for you, then I would definitely look at either the franchise or the license, and we would always be, slightly biased towards the license. If money is an issue for you, then you may want to look at figuring it out on your own. Later, thinking about becoming a licensed partner, because that's much less than a franchise, but more than figuring out on your own all these $2,000 courses. If money's like no issue whatsoever, you can always go and do a franchise, but just realize there are certain limitations and restrictions on what you're able to do. So I hope that was useful in knowing the different ways that you can go and the path to go on. And that's whether you're going to do coaching or consulting, and I've got other videos all about how the difference between them, but how there's also a big overlap as well. So we think it's an incredible career path of fulfillment, and high-end recurring income when you know how to keep clients and you've got those tools ready to go. And we would encourage people to try and not go and do it, figure it out on their own, because there's a big, steep learning curve, and you can get all the tools, everything ready, done for you, and you just focus on building the business. So if you want to find out more about that, you can obviously apply or book a call with us to see if it's a good fit for you.